Have you ever found yourself, in a situation where everything feels totally out of your control, but you still like instinctively do some little personal thing? Maybe it's using a specific pen for a test, or grabbing that lucky mug, or, wearing that shirt when your team plays. It's this universal thing, right? This desire to kind of nudge things our way, even when we know rationally it's just chance. It's absolutely fascinating. So today we're doing a deep dive into betting superstitions around the world, strange rituals players swear by. We're going to explore this incredible range of rituals that gamblers use. I mean, everyone from high rollers and fancy casinos to folks just starting out, online rituals they genuinely believe help their odds. Our goal isn't just to list them, though. It's really to unpack what these habits tell us about, well, human psychology when we're up against pure randomness.
And you've really hit on something key there. It's truly global. It's deeply human. What's so striking is how widespread these superstitions are across totally different cultures, especially, when the stakes are high, like in betting. And these aren't just sort of quaint old customs. Often, they're really deeply held beliefs, convictions even. Players feel they give them an edge or, at the very least, a sense of control. We'll look at how these things evolved, from ancient beliefs tied up in language and tradition, right through to the kind of quirky things we see online today. And yeah, everything we're discussing comes straight from the material you shared, covering practices from China, Latin America, even the online sports betting world. It's quite a spectrum, isn't it?
It really is. Okay, so let's unpack this. Let's start with some specific examples, maybe looking east first, China. The significance of numbers there in betting and just daily life, it's profound. Take the number 8. It's not just lucky, it's like a symbol of massive prosperity. And online casinos, they've definitely picked up on this. You see those 888 promotions all the time. For players, seeing that isn't just a bonus code, it's like hitting a cultural jackpot. It feels like a sign?
Exactly. And that connection, that 8 means prosperity thing. It's not random at all. It's tied directly to the language. In Mandarin, the word for 8, bear, sounds incredibly similar to fa, which means like to make a fortune or prosper.
Ah, okay, so it's literally in the sound.
Precisely. It's an auditory connection, almost like hearing a promise of wealth. So it's way more than just a digit. And what's fascinating is how that same sort of linguistic connection works in reverse for other numbers. While 8 is great, the number 4 that's often seriously avoided, almost viscerally.
What?
Well, in Mandarin, the word for 4, si, sounds really, really similar to the word for death.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's significant.
It really is. It's not just a minor dislike. It's such a strong negative association that some players will flat out refuse to play slots or tables that feature the number 4 prominently. You might even notice casinos subtly designing things to skip unlucky numbers, or online games programming certain combinations out. It just shows how symbols, like numbers, aren't just abstract. They soak up powerful meanings from culture, from language, and directly influence behavior. It's like a hidden layer guiding choices.
That language link is just incredibly powerful, isn't it? How a simple sound can embed good or bad luck into a number and shape what people do. Okay, but what about other places? Let's shift over to Europe. Italy, for instance. Around New Year's especially, you might see something quite distinct at gaming tables there. Players often carry red charms or wear red clothes, sometimes even red underwear, apparently. And it's not just fashion, right? It's this deep belief that the color red actually boosts their luck, wards off bad fortune.
Yeah, red is often seen as symbolizing vitality, protection, good fortune in many cultures. And in Italy, it has that strong association, especially around renewal and luck for the coming year. It's a very tangible way to try and invite luck in.
And then if we hop across the Atlantic, say, to Latin America, we find another really interesting mix of belief and chance. Some gamblers there aren't just relying on lucky colors or objects, they're actually whispering prayers. Prayers to specific saints, often right before they place a bet, whether it's at a counter or clicking online. It's this blend of, personal faith-seeking intervention and something that's fundamentally about probability.
It absolutely is. And it really highlights the different ways people seek that external influence. You've got the tangible, lucky object like the red charm, and then you have this direct appeal for divine help. This whole spectrum just reflects how different cultures approach chance, how people try to find some kind of anchor in all that randomness, whether it's physical, spiritual, or routine. The underlying need seems to be the same, trying to feel connected to something beyond just the odds. It shows how belief systems adapt, really.
It's easy to think of these as maybe old traditions, things you see on a casino floor, maybe a bit quaint. But here's where it gets really interesting for me, how these deep-seated needs for control and luck have found totally new ways to express themselves online in the digital world. What happens when that need for a lucky charm meets your smartphone? Well, think about lucky logins. This is apparently a growing thing where players will meticulously log into a casino app at the exact time they once had a big win. Like they won at 10:17 p.m. once, so now they always log in at 10:17 p.m., convinced that repeating the time somehow repeats the luck.
It's like trying to capture lightning in a bottle again, digitally.
Exactly. And it goes further into their online identity, too. Some people refuse, absolutely refuse to change their screen names. They believe their username itself isn't just random letters. It's like imbued with luck. It carries a winning energy. Changing it would feel like throwing away their good fortune, like taking off a lucky hat you can't see. It really points to this need for consistency, for control, even in this anonymous virtual space where logic says your name means nothing to the outcome.
You've nailed it. If we connect this to the bigger picture, that's what's so fascinating. Technology changes the form, the way these superstitions look, but not the underlying need. That basic human desire to influence the unpredictable. It's exactly the same. These digital rituals, the login times, the screen names, maybe even how you tap the screens, they become the new talismans. They're new ways to impose some kind of order on the digital unknown, giving that crucial sense of consistency, or at least perceived control, in what's otherwise totally random and impersonal. It's the same psychological engine running, just, on a different track. And this isn't just casino games, right? Sports betting sees a ton of this, too.
Oh, absolutely. Sports betting is just fertile ground for this stuff, especially with all the team loyalty and passion involved. You hear endless stories, right? Fans who, if their team's on a winning streak or maybe their own bets are hitting, they will not wash their lucky jersey. I mean, you can only imagine the state of some of those jerseys after a while.
Hygiene definitely takes a back seat to perceived fortune there.
Totally. It becomes this, yeah, maybe unhygienic, but really powerful symbol of winning, of continuity. Or what about the ritual of only placing a bet after taking a sip of a specific lucky drink? It's a small thing, but it's meant to, like, activate the win. A taste or sensation linked to past success.
A little personal activation sequence.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there. You look at online forums, people talk about all sorts of things. Classic stuff like knocking on wood, maybe their desk before hitting place bet online, or tapping the screen 3 times. Like it's some kind of magic spell. It just shows how creative we are, turning everyday actions, a tap, a sip, even a dirty shirt, into these little power rituals. They're not just quirks. They're patterns meant to bring comfort, a feeling of doing something.
And it's a perfect illustration of how adaptable that need for ritual is. Doesn't matter if it's physical, like knocking wood, or digital, like a timed login. The function is identical. It's trying to create a link, a perceived connection between your action and this random external event, trying to inject some personal agency into chaos. The digital world just offers new canvases for these old impulses. But the core psychology, seeking patterns, wanting control, maybe just basic optimism that's constant. These are coping strategies, really, for dealing with uncertainty.
Okay, so we've gone from lucky numbers in China, red charms in Italy, prayers in Latin America, all the way to digital logins and unwashed jerseys. It's clear these betting superstitions are global, incredibly varied, and super adaptable. But let's hit the big question, the one probably everyone's thinking. Do any of these things actually change the odds? And the straight answer, from everything we've looked at, from the source material, is, well, no. A definite no. The math of a slot machine, the random number generator online, the stats behind a sports game, none of that is touched by a lucky login or a red sock.
Nope. The house edge remains the house edge.
Right, so if they don't actually work, why? Why do they stick around with such power? And this gets us to the core psychology, doesn't it?
This is exactly where the real insight lies. It tells us so much about how our minds work. The psychological impact is huge. Firstly, these rituals really do reduce anxiety. Think about it. You're facing pure uncertainty, money's on the line. Performing a familiar ritual, any ritual, gives you a structured action. It helps channel that nervous energy. It creates this little moment of focused perceived order right before the randomness hits. It's like a mental pause button for the panic.
Okay, so it calms the nerves. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, and second, maybe even more importantly, they provide a vital sense of control. Even though it's a game of pure chance, the objective odds don't change, but the ritual creates this powerful illusion of control. The player feels like they're doing something active to influence things, even if, logically, they aren't. And that illusion, whether it comes from a lucky number, a shirt, a login time, it doesn't just cut anxiety, it actually makes the whole experience more enjoyable, more engaging. It turns what could be a cold statistical thing into something personal, meaningful.
So it's about making the randomness feel less random, less impersonal.
Exactly. It powerfully shows our deep need for agency. Our brains seem wired to look for causes and effects, for patterns. And when the world doesn't give us obvious ones, especially in situations involving chance, we're incredibly good at constructing our own to help us cope, to find comfort. It's how we navigate unpredictability.
What an incredible tour that was, from, numbers in China, prayers in Latin America, right up to these modern digital habits like lucky logins and those fragrant sports jerseys. We've seen these superstitions are everywhere. They take so many forms and they just keep adapting. Culture, technology, they shape the how, but the why seems constant. And yeah, while they absolutely do not change the hard probabilities, their psychological grip, undeniable. They really shape how we experience and even enjoy dealing with pure chance.
Indeed. The magic, if you want to call it that, isn't about actually changing the odds. That stays purely mathematical. The magic is in our own belief systems. That powerful, innate need to feel connected to our fortune, maybe even feel a little bit in charge of it. It speaks volumes about our optimism, maybe, our ability to find comfort and meaning in ritual, even when logic says it doesn't technically work. It's about adding our own story to the randomness.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something maybe for you, the listener, to think about. What small rituals or beliefs do you kind of lean on when things feel uncertain in your life? Maybe it's a routine before something important, a specific way you arrange things, even just, I don't know, wearing a certain color on a tough day. And what does that tell us about our own, maybe universal quest for a little bit of control in a world that's often pretty unpredictable? Perhaps your own lucky charms are closer than you think, and the reason behind them, well, maybe it's more profound than you'd ever guess.